On June 17, 2026, in Houston, Texas, Cristiano Ronaldo walked onto a football pitch for the sixth time at a World Cup. 41 years old, the oldest outfield player to start a World Cup match in the history of the tournament, and did not score. Portugal drew 1-1 with DR Congo. Messi had scored a hat-trick the night before. The comparison was immediate, brutal, and everywhere. And Ronaldo stood in that stadium knowing something only he fully understands, that he has spent 20 years of his life trying to win the one trophy that has refused to come. 6 World Cups, 8 goals, a career of staggering achievement, and one absence at the center of all of it. This is the story of the captain who has never stopped trying, and what it means that he is still here, still refusing, still in it. Germany 2006. Ronaldo is 21 years old, wearing the number 17 shirt, already at Manchester United, already recognized as one of the most gifted young players in Europe, and Portugal reached the semi-finals, their best World Cup finish since 1966, when Eusebio carried them to third. Ronaldo scores his first World Cup goal against Iran, a penalty in the 80th minute, becoming the youngest Portuguese player to score at a World Cup at 21 years and 132 days. Portugal finished fourth. The potential is obvious. The squad around him is a golden generation. Figo, Deco, Carvalho, and Ronaldo is the future of the team, not yet the centerpiece. He leaves Germany thinking he has 15 years ahead of him to win this. He has no idea what the next 20 years will actually look like. South Africa 2010. Ronaldo scores against North Korea. Portugal beat them 7-0, and then in the round of 16 they face Spain, the eventual champions. Ronaldo barely touches the ball. Portugal lose 0-1. He looks lost against a Xavi Iniesta midfield that suffocates everything. Brazil 2014 arrives, and he is injured in the build-up, a knee problem that limits his mobility throughout the tournament. Portugal lose 4-0 to Germany in their first game. They do not recover. Ronaldo scores the winner against Ghana in the final group game. A late, decisive goal, but it is not enough. Portugal are eliminated in the group stage. He scores 1 goal per tournament in back-to-back World Cups and exits early both times. The gap between his individual quality and his World Cup returns is becoming the central tension of his career. The frustration is real and visible. Russia 2018. And the opening game against Spain produces one of the greatest individual World Cup performances anyone has ever seen. Ronaldo scores a penalty in the 4th minute, adds a driven strike in the 44th, and then in the 88th minute, with the score at 2-2 and Spain pressing for the winner, steps up to a free kick 25 yards from goal, curls it into the top right corner past David De Gea, and wheels away into what becomes one of the defining celebration images of his career. Hat-trick against Spain in a World Cup group game. At 33 years old, he scores 4 goals in total in that tournament, including a header against Morocco in the 4th minute, and becomes the oldest player to score a World Cup hat-trick in history. It is the best he has ever been at a World Cup. And then Uruguay eliminate Portugal in the round of 16, and Cavani scores twice, and he goes home again. Qatar 2022. And this is where the story becomes something more than sport. Ronaldo arrives in the middle of a public falling out with Manchester United. He is removed from the starting lineup by manager Fernando Santos for the Switzerland round of 16 match, coming on as a substitute, and Goncalo Ramos, who started in his place, scores a hat-trick. Ronaldo does not score. Against Morocco in the quarterfinals, he again begins on the bench. Comes on, cannot change the result. Morocco win 1-0. And as Portugal are eliminated, the cameras find Ronaldo walking off the pitch, and he is crying. Not the tears of a bad performance, but the tears of a man who understands that time is running out, that at 37, this may have been his last real chance, and it ended on the bench. He scored 1 goal in that entire tournament. Against Ghana, in the group stage. Here is the one World Cup statistic about Ronaldo that stops every conversation. He has scored 8 goals across 5 World Cups in 22 appearances, and every single one of those 8 goals came in the group stage. 0 goals in knockout football. 6 knockout appearances against Spain in 2010, Uruguay and Germany in 2014, Uruguay in 2018, Switzerland and Morocco in 2022, and across all 6 of those matches, not a single goal. It is not that the opponents were particularly stronger. It is that the pressure of the knockout stage at a World Cup, the specific weight of elimination football on the largest possible stage, has produced a version of Ronaldo that is somehow not quite the version that scores 4 goals against Spain in a group game. And nobody, including Ronaldo himself, has ever fully explained why. Because it would be wrong to tell this story without saying what Ronaldo has won. Because the man who has never won the World Cup has won almost everything else. The 2016 European Championship in France, Portugal's first ever major international title, with Ronaldo limping off injured in the final's 25th minute, then spending the rest of the game on the touchline, kneeling, gesturing, coaching from the sideline, willing his teammates through every minute until Eder scored in extra time, and Ronaldo ran onto the pitch in tears, the captain who could not play but could not leave. 2 UEFA Nations League titles in 2019 and 2025, 143 international goals, the highest in men's football history, 229 caps. The records are extraordinary, but the World Cup is the one conversation where none of them changed the subject. After Qatar 2022, many people assumed it was over. He was 37. He had cried walking off the pitch after Morocco. He had been benched. The career was in its final phase. And then Ronaldo moved to Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia, scored consistently, and in November 2024 recanted on a long-held position by saying the World Cup was still a goal for him, that he had not given up, that he intended to be in North America in 2026, that this was not finished. Portugal manager Roberto Martinez named him in the squad. And on June 17, 2026, Ronaldo walked out in Houston against DR Congo as the oldest outfield player to start a World Cup match in history. 41 years and 123 days, and played 90 minutes. He did not score. He had 2 chances that did not go in. He showed up, played, and kept going. That is the whole story. Portugal drew 1-1 with DR Congo, and the Ronaldo question dominated every conversation after, because he had a chance when a poor pass landed just behind him and he kicked the ball onto his own leg and wide. And minutes later, a Bruno Fernandes through ball found him in space, and his shot trickled wide. Not the Ronaldo of 2018. Not the free kick into the top corner. Not the hat trick. But I want to say something clearly about that game, because 41-year-old strikers who are not quite themselves in the first game of a World Cup are not disgraced by it. They are human. The question 2026 is asking is not whether Ronaldo can be his 2018 self. It is whether he can find enough to contribute something when it matters, and whether Portugal, with Bruno Fernandes conducting the midfield, can give him the chance he needs. The night before Ronaldo's first 2026 World Cup game, Lionel Messi scored a hat trick against Algeria, and the framing was immediate and everywhere. Messi, the World Cup champion, scoring 3 at 38 in his 6th tournament, versus Ronaldo, who has never won one, goalless at 41 in his 6th tournament. The comparison between these 2 men has run for 20 years, and it has never been resolved. And at the World Cup specifically, the gap is real, documented, and painful for anyone who loves Ronaldo. Messi scored in the 2022 final. Ronaldo has never scored in a knockout game. Messi has a World Cup winner's medal. Ronaldo does not. And every day Messi plays well at this tournament, the conversation returns. Ronaldo has never been defined by Messi's success. But the World Cup is the one competition where the comparison is hardest to escape. Ronaldo said before this tournament, in a direct and unusually personal interview, that he was not coming to 2026 for records or milestones or to prove anything to anyone who had already decided his legacy was settled. He was coming because Portugal have a chance, because he believes he can still contribute something real, and because the World Cup is the competition he has never conquered. And the idea of letting that be the final word on his career, when he still has the physical capacity to compete, is something he simply cannot accept. That is not delusion. That is the thing that has made him what he is. The refusal to accept any version of himself that is less than what he believes he can be. It is the same impulse that has driven him for 23 years of professional football, and it has not gone away at 41. And Portugal do have a genuine chance in 2026, because the squad around Ronaldo is better than it has been at any World Cup he has attended. Bruno Fernandes in the center of midfield is one of the most creative and productive players in European football. Bernardo Silva and Rafael Leo provide width and direct quality. João Neves, who scored Portugal's opening goal against DR Congo with a composed header in the 5th minute, is one of the most technically complete young midfielders in the world. And Goncalo Ramos, the man who started ahead of Ronaldo in 2022 and scored a hat-trick against Switzerland, gives the squad a second genuine striker option. This is not a team built entirely around a 41-year-old captain. It is a team that can win the World Cup, in which that captain is still a relevant presence. The question is whether Portugal can manage both truths simultaneously. And I want to say something directly about the legacy question. Because the idea that Ronaldo's career is somehow incomplete without a World Cup winner's medal is a version of the argument that misunderstands what his career actually is. He is the highest goal scorer in men's international football history. He won the European Championship and gave his country their first ever major international title while playing through injury in the final. He has done things at club level, 5 Champions League titles, for Ballon d'Ors, that place him in the category of 2 or 3 players in the entire history of football. The World Cup is the one thing missing. But a career is not defined by the one thing it lacked. It is defined by everything it contained. Ronaldo's career contains more than almost anyone else who has ever played, and he is still adding to it in 2026 at 41.